That's a good ball for Peter Weir. Now Aberdeen with McGee making the break and Hewitt waiting in the middle. Yes!
Tomorrow, the Dons head to Paisley as we take on St Mirren, looking for a win for the first time there in the league in 9 games. We kick off at the SMISA Stadium at 3 o'clock. It's a huge game again as we continue our run to hopefully get third place. Hibs take on Dundee United at Easter Road. The best bet that I reckon we could ask for there is a 0-0 draw. That's how it's shaping up. If Aberdeen get the win and if Hibs drop points, we go above Hibs into third place. The incentives continue as we build up towards the end of the season, hopefully European football, and of course, a Scottish Cup final to look forward to. Hi everybody, how you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg ABTV this Friday night ahead of our game against St Mirren tomorrow. Another huge game. So a couple of things that I want to clear up as we sort of get into tonight's show, and I'm looking for your input on this. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the utter hoo-ha around our ticket allocation for the Scottish Cup final from other clubs and other fans. I swear to God, only in Scotland could this utter nonsense reach such a crescendo that we've got fans of a wee diddy club like Hearts moaning about our ticket allocation. What on earth have you got to do with us playing in the Scottish Cup final? If I was you, I would keep your own house in order and make sure you don't get relegated. Again, I'm just astonished by the amount of utter garbage on social media this week since our allocation was announced, which I still think is an absolute joke. And fair play to everybody involved at the football club who absolutely stood their ground to ensure that we got what was a decent allocation. Still not 50-50. It was never going to be, was it? Let's be honest. Only in Scotland. But the fact, that we have done what we've done, I absolutely tip my hat to the chairman and to the board of directors for absolutely standing their ground. I cannot believe that people are even suggesting that we won't sell out our allocation. It's just nuts. It's absolutely nuts. I think people forget how good our away support is. And I think genuinely people, fans of other clubs, have their heads in the sand when it comes to the difficulties that are faced travelling away from Aberdeen to games which have early kickoffs in Glasgow. I think people just bury their heads in the sand. I really do. And I just think they're looking for any excuse. I saw a tweet the other day about, oh, come on, it's only 3 hours. Only 3 hours. The mind boggles. So we've taken care of that. There's lots and lots of other stuff to take care of as well, which I want to bring you. So first and foremost, just let me grab it for you because I just need to put it into the timeline. Right, there we go. So we'll do this first. And it's huge congratulations to those who won at the Player of the Year awards last night. So Topi Keskinen, Young Player of the Year. Delighted to see Shaden Morris win Player of the Year. And Players Player of the Year was Kevin Nisbet. Also a shout out to Esther Sokla, who won Goal of the Season. Francesca Urgovi, who won the Player of the Year on the women's side. Players Player of the Year on the women's side was Ava Thompson, and Dilla Lobin, who won the Development Player. So many congratulations to all of you. I must admit, I'm delighted for Shaden, because what I hope accolades like this just gives him that fire in the belly to really finish the season strongly. I think he's come on bundles. I still think he has a tendency to go missing when he starts. I think if he can improve that aspect of his game, he could be a really, really decent football player. 5 goals this season, I think it is, 12 assists. So absolutely delighted for him. Thought it was really interesting that Kevin Nisbet won the Players' Player of the Year. Honestly, that really intrigued me. I have no issues with it. And it's interesting because when I was home, and I was in a very fortunate position where I managed to catch up with a couple of lads, and they were absolutely singing his praises. They really were, about the work that he does on the pitch, not just from a physical point of view, but from an audio point of view, let's say. The way that he speaks to players, the way that he guides players through the game, the way that he manages the game as well. He's almost like having a vice captain on the football pitch. And I think that's why he's so highly thought of amongst his teammates. And I must admit, I hope the club do everything that they can to try and keep him. Right, I'm going to predict the team for tomorrow. Now, I have made one change. I'm going to keep the back four as it is. So Alexander, Alfie, Knuster and Shinza. Going to keep Palaversa and Clarkson in the middle, with Leighton playing just that little bit deeper. Now, this is where I've made my change. I would like Dante Polvara to come in place of Papa Gay. Shaden on the right, Toppy on the left, and of course Kevin will play up front on his own. Now, my reason behind that thinking is because I think he's done magnificently well since he's come back into the side from his injury. Papa, for me, still blows hot and cold. I still sometimes think, with the greatest respect, that he's a little bit of a headless chicken. I have no issues with him. I quite like his awkwardness. I think it brings a different dimension to the team. But I think tomorrow we're going to need more strength in midfield and in the final third to break them down, because they are going to play like how they played against us last year, which I'll come on to in just a moment. So it's up to us to break them down. They're going to hit us on the break. That's all they're going to do tomorrow, I think. And I think having Dante in there could prove vital, because what I think we have missing from our away performances is steel in the middle of the park. And I think we need to be just that little bit, and I've said this time and time before, that we need to be that little bit more nasty. Within, of course, the laws of the game, but we just need a little bit of a nasty element to our game, which I think if we can introduce will help us an awful lot away from Pittodrie. Tomorrow is not going to be easy. I've got the match stats for you, and it will show you that our record there is not great. Oh, what's that? Get lost, get lost. Oh my God, seriously, Ali, we've had that already. Right, let's try this. Right, this was the corresponding fixture that we played last year. Look at our possession of the football. 71.9% to their 28.1%. 16 shots each. 6 of theirs were on target to our 4. Only 1 touch of the ball more for them inside our 18-yard box. But look at the total passes. Almost double to what they had last year. And of course, we got done with 2 absolute sucker punches during the game. I'll bring the match stats in just a moment, but can I just gently remind you that Ali Beg AB TV is brought to you and supported by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in drilling equipment rental. But not just that, they offer a wide range of services to the oil and gas industries, with offices based in Aberdeen, the Middle East and Southeast Asia. So let me bring you those match stats that I was talking about. Right, there they are. Okay, so Aberdeen are winless in 9 league visits to St Mirren, drawing 3, losing 6, since a 2-1 triumph in December 2018 under Derek McInnes. I appreciate that we beat them in the Cup, but in terms of the league, it's not great. St Mirren have won their past 2 league games against the Dons, last winning 3 in a row back in July 2011. Both the Dons and the Buddies have similar goal-scoring records this season, St Mirren having scored a goal more than us, with 47 goals to their name this season. The referee is Ross Hardy. On VAR is Gavin Duncan. So, talking about the Player of the Year awards, let me bring you Yimmy, because he gave his press conference today. One of the interesting things that he said was that Sivert Nielsen is out for the season due to this injury. So he's going to be missing now for the rest of the campaign. But what he did do was reiterate a point about, first and foremost, how much he enjoyed being at the Player of the Year awards ceremony, but how he's really starting to appreciate how important the relationship and the closeness of the fans is to the football club. This is what he had to say earlier today.
Yeah. I think it was. I think it's always good to have this. How can I say? Platforms or whatever you can interact with everyone. So you, and also for the players to see what we're playing for, and build on this relation. Because it's a really important relation you have with your supporters and fans, and because we belong to Aberdeen Football Club, we're working for this club and for the people around it. So we have to be aware and take responsibility. But the only thing we can promise is always to give everything we can. We can't promise results, but we can promise this one. And then it's good to meeting these people, and then you feel how strong this relation are, and the belief, and how everybody pushing for us to get better and better.
There we go. That's what the manager had to say during his press conference today. Right, we've got a very special On This Day coming up. But first, I think it's about time we got you guys on and see how you're all doing. So just let me grab you. Right, bear with me while I get all your comments. Okay, let's just bring that down a touch. Let's get you over there. Okay, where are we? So, lots of you on tonight. Lovely, as always. Thank you. Okay, let's bring that to the top. Right, Gordon Keith Ritchie came on first of all and said, good evening. All we need to do is play for 90 minutes and get a win and keep momentum going for the rest of the season. And going into the cup final, Paisley is never an easy place to get a win. Cameron Young says, hopefully we get the result and 3 points tomorrow against St Mirren. It's always tough down there against them, and hopefully Dundee United can do us a favour and win against Hibs. Well, I have to be honest. I said it at the top of the show. I'm hoping for a draw in that game. Fraser Gunn says, greetings all, hoping for the 3 points tomorrow. Thoughts on the cup final allocation? Personally delighted the club stood up for itself and negotiated a good amount. Farcical, we had to fight for them. Norman Baker says, evening all, important to get the 3 points tomorrow with the Ugly Sisters next. I reckon Dante should start. Yeah, we've got Celtic and Rangers back to back, don't forget. Steve Williamson says, hi Ali, hope you're all well. Congratulations on your loon getting a hat-trick. Hopefully it's a good sign for a Dons win tomorrow. So little Harvey, my wee one, had a game today and scored his first competitive hat-trick. My wee boy. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. So good. Graham Gibbs says, evening dandies, yet another must-win game and a never-ending season of must-win games. Bonkers season, this one, he says. Ryan Ellington is on, wishing you all a good evening, as is Kilted Warrior. Peter Lee says, I don't really care how we play as long as we win. Stephen Morrison is also on, wishing you a good evening, as is David Gold. Another big match coming, he says. St Mirren have been a bit of a bogey team for us. Something's got to give, though. Graham Gibbs says, need to match their intensity and not allow them to get into top gear. Once they're at full pelt and their crowd get going, it's a hard place to play. Angela Hamilton is here. How you doing, Angela? Hello, everyone. We need the 3 points before we face that lot. Dave B says, good evening, dandies. I'm going to be bold and predict a 2 or a 3-0 win. They were lucky last time out as Ruby had a nightmare. Suze is on, saying good evening. Neil Sinclair is on, saying good evening. As is Bruce Struthers. He goes on to say, another huge game tomorrow. We owe St Mirren a doing, but he's hoping for the same starting 11 that started last week against Hibs. Graham Gibbs says, Hearts fans have bigger issues than our allocation. It's just mind-boggling. Can't be bothered says, come on, Ali, give Hearts a break. They are the Attendance Cup champions. They are, to be fair. They are. Paul Hannon says, good evening, Ali. How you doing tonight? And your boy scoring a hat-trick. Future dandy there. Anyway, looking forward to the game on Saturday. Time to get one over St Mirren. Sheep on Fire says, absolutely vital we win this to take advantage of Hibs playing Dundee United. A performance is required from every player and we need to want it more than them. That's a really good point. You know, I've been saying this for a while that sometimes I think we're a little bit guilty of showing not enough desire. Particularly during that bad run. I think we've kind of changed that mindset recently. I think against Hearts, we kept going. Against Hibs, we kept going. And that reminded me of how we used to play at the beginning of the season, that we kept going. Yes, we rode our luck a little bit and we got, you know, we got our fair share of luck here and there. But you make your own luck, don't you? So tomorrow, I just want to see a level of desire and intensity that will maybe be just a little bit of a level above the Hibs and the Hearts game. Because we do that, it puts us in a good place. Because the two games against Celtic and Rangers, as we all know, will not be easy. John Grant says, hopefully keep the good form up. No fears as long as we get the defending set pieces tighter. I reckon same starting lineup again, although I would love to see Dante more on sooner. Paul Donaldson said, was pleased to see Shayden Morris get Player of the Year. Hope we can see the form that won him this award between now and the end of the season. Bruce Strother says, on the cup final ticket chat, Diddy team's just jealous we're in the final, Ali. Maybe if Hearts hadn't fallen apart again, they may have had something to look forward to. Jensen Cole says, hi Ali, must win game tomorrow in race for third. Buzzing with Shady Mo's deserved award. Hopefully we can continue the form and get the 3 points. Dave B actually makes a fair point. He says, but in terms of the travel time down to Glasgow, he says it's not 3 hours. By the time you get sorted in the car and then through the Glasgow traffic, it's more like 4 hours. Yeah, I'll take your point on that, mate. Bruce Strother says, well done, Shady Mo. Ryan Ellington says, congratulations to Toppy, Shaden and Kevin being awarded Player of the Year. They have all played so well this season. Keep up the brilliant work. Sheep on Fire says, well done, Shady. It will hopefully build his confidence more. David Gold Rally Vid said, Shady Mo, Player of the Year. Who would have put money on that a year ago? Delighted at his turnaround. I think we all are, to be fair, right? Right, we'll come back to your comments in just a moment. But again, just let me gently remind you that ABTV is also brought to you by Craig International, where the future of global procurement is very much at the forefront of their business strategy. With 10 offices strategically placed around the world to serve all 4 corners of the globe, procurement is very much safe in their hands. They have offices in Southeast Asia, in the Middle East, out in Australia, in America and Canada, on the continent, and of course, back home in Aberdeen. If you get an opportunity to check out their website, please do. It's brand new. It looks absolutely fantastic. And it will give you a really good understanding of exactly the type of services that they can offer you. Right, on this day, here we go, God was born. He was. Aberdeen's record appearance holder and club legend, Willie Miller, celebrates his 70th birthday today. Willie played 796 games for the club between 1973 and 1990, and he won 12 major honours. During that time, he scored 32 goals for the club. I don't know if you saw my little video that I put on my Facebook page today on X of Tony DeRigo and Peter Reid singing There's Only One Willie Miller. If you've not had a chance to see it, please do, because it's so funny. And a little bit later tonight, I've got a blooper from when we attempted to make that video a good few years ago when I was living in Qatar working for beIN Sports. So I'll post the blooper a little bit later because it's just as funny as the original. And absolute fair play to Peter and to Tony, who needed no invitation to help me make that video. Peter in particular, I don't think Tony actually played against Willie, but Peter played against him a few times for England and said he was one of the best defenders that he'd ever seen. He said as comfortable as a defender on the ball that he'd ever seen. That kind of stuck in my mind because I remember having the conversation about Baresi. He spoke about Baresi, how comfortable he was on the ball, and he kind of put Willie in the same ilk as Baresi. I kind of argued that Willie was better, of course. Oh, I love that man, Willie Miller, my hero. Oh, love that man. Right. David Goldralli vids are suggesting that Polvara is an absolute must as a starter tomorrow. Bruce Struthers agrees as well. As does Norman Baker. As does Dave B. Graham Gibbs says their centre-back Taylor is a beast. Need Pape for his physicality. In Yimmy's interview discussing Dante, he reiterates the need to manage his comeback. Polvara won't start. Yeah, maybe. Neil Strachan is suggesting a 4-0 win for the Dons. Oh, yeah, I'll take that, mate. Neil Sinclair reckons it'll be 3-0. Paul Hannon. Thank you, Paul. He's reminding you all to subscribe if you're enjoying the show. Share, like, the usual. I'll give you a wee shout about that a little bit later. Paul Donaldson says, I've never seen us win away at St Mirren. Hopefully that finally comes to an end tomorrow. Well, Paul, if you're watching and you take your nephew, please take him. I don't think he's seen the Dons get beat yet. Take him, please. Deck G says, good evening, Ali and Dandies. It's a tough place to go. Hopefully we can grind out a result at Paisley. David Horn's on, wishing you all a good evening. Yeah, Bruce Struthers makes a good point. He says, hopefully Dovington and Canusta can be solid against the long ball, better than previous centre-backs. We have to watch this long ball tomorrow, my God. John Moore is here saying, I think this will be our toughest away game post-split. Don't think Dante will start, even though I want him to. Just need to grind out a result, he says. Jaw5033 says, hey Ali, last saw you at the McLeish and Miller event. I thought you were very funny. Really? Thanks, mate. Predicting a 2-1 win for the Dons. Nisbet and Canusta header. Okay. Graham Caldwell says, good evening, Ali. Saints fan who regularly tunes into the channel. I think it will be an open game tomorrow. We need to go for it as 1 point isn't enough in our bid to catch Dundee United. Graham, thanks for coming on. It's great to have you on. I'm delighted that you're here. And I have to say, you're absolutely right. You know, you've got it all to play for as well. Hence why I think you're quite right. It will be an open game. And I think it will be quite an entertaining game as well. The Mad Ferret is on, saying hi. Jack Bruce says, delighted for Shaden. I was his biggest critic last season. Glad he's proved me wrong. There's been a few players down the years, so I wish I could have done that. Poor mate. Where do you begin? Right, one last reminder. Delighted to say that we have a brand new sponsor in Quipco International, a manufacturing and repair service company serving the oil and gas industries. With their headquarters based in Abu Dhabi, they are perfectly placed to offer a number of services and products to the Middle East. So as always, thank you to Saltire, to Craig and to Quipco as well for their support on the channel. Don't forget there's a membership scheme here on ABTV as well. I know a few of you have actually come back and you have very kindly renewed your membership. So thank you for that. The membership is different than subscribing. Subscribing is a little bit, I keep saying this, I wish YouTube would change it. I just think it's not a very good word. What you're basically doing is you're just following like you would on Facebook or X or Instagram or anything like that. You're not paying for anything. Whereas the membership schemes it's an optional offer for you where you can pay a small subscription fee to the channel Everything that I make from that goes into the business, and you're going to start seeing more changes in the coming weeks where everything that we are making from the membership scheme goes straight back into the channel, and you will start to see some changes very, very soon. And I've also been reliably informed in recent times that if you wish to make a donation, you can also make a donation to ABTV. So if you don't want to pay for the membership scheme, but you would like to help donate, you can. All you have to do is go to the bottom of the live chat, and at the bottom, there's a little icon that looks like a dollar note. All you have to do is click on there, and you can offer as little or as much as you want. So obviously, any help to make this service better for you will be very, very gratefully received. So one last reminder, please don't forget to like the show if you do. It just helps with the algorithm. I've loved all your comments tonight, as I always do. Don't forget to subscribe. We are edging ever closer to 4,300. In fact, if you haven't subscribed already, I would be very grateful if you would please consider it, because we are 14 subscribers away from 4,300. Then the next milestone after that is obviously to get to 4,500. So if you've enjoyed the show, I would be absolutely thrilled if you please wouldn't mind considering subscribing. Graham Caldwell, the St Mirren fan, came back and said, I would also like to say I'm delighted Aberdeen got 20,000 tickets for the final. Thoroughly deserved for a loyal fan base, and I hope you guys come away with a trophy. See, this is what ABTV, I was hoping, would be all about, is that fans from other sides will come to us, enjoy the banter, have some fun with us, and be completely and utterly respectful of what we're trying to do. But more importantly, make this place a safe haven. That's the thing that I continue to advocate and to bang a drum about, that I want this place to be a safe haven for fans of any club to come and have their say, as long as they are respectful. If you are a fan of another club and you want to come on and have a go, use bad language, be disrespectful, start a fight, you'll get blocked immediately. We want a safe haven. In times when social media is a hateful, spiteful platform for people with nothing better to do, sometimes it would be nice to have a breath of fresh air. I want this place to be a breath of fresh air. So thank you, Graham. Very, very, very encouraged by your support tonight. Thank you, mate. Graham Gibbs says, how good was it seeing how much being player of the year meant to Shady Mo? His mum looked pretty made up too. Martin Wilson says, Paul Vara contract extension could be the best bit of transfer business we do this summer. It needs to be done. There we go. Right, guys, we are done. So, all that's left to say, as always, at this juncture, is the very best of luck to the lads tomorrow. Just continue the momentum. You know how difficult it's going to be tomorrow. Show that desire. Don't give them anything, particularly long balls. We're going to have to be patient, but be creative. Think out of the box, not literally the 18-yard box. Do you know what I mean? It's another sellout allocation. You will get backed, as you always do, by the fans. We're right behind you as we continue to fight for third place, European football, and continue, hopefully, this momentum leading up to the Scottish Cup final. So the very best of luck, lads. I hope you can do it. I've got every confidence you will. We will see you again on Sunday night. Have a fantastic Saturday. Take good care of yourselves. Thanks so much for coming on, and I'll see you Sunday. All the very best. Bye-bye.